Kalyan sir, Kalyan sir.
Hello, I'm audible.
Kalyan sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you're audible. Shall we start now, sir?
Yeah, I'm good.
1 minute, sir. I just give introduction on you.
Sure, sure.
Okay. Dear participants, good evening all. And this is the fifth day of FDP session. Thank you for your continuous support and participation. Let us welcome our session resource person, Kalyan Prasad. Mr. Kalyan Prasad is working as a AI and data science leader in Gray Radiant Data Services, and also he worked as advisor at Kaggle. Totally has 15 years of experience in his field. His key areas are AI consulting and agentic AI. These are the important areas, key areas of Kalyan Prasad. And Sir has got certifications such as AWS Educate Machine Learning Foundations, and also he got a certificate on introducing generative AI with AWS. Let us welcome our resource person Kalyan Prasad for this session. Now, sir is going to deliver session on AI in robotics and automation. Sir, welcome you once again, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Mahesh, for the warm welcome. Hey everyone. So happy to be here, and thanks for again choosing me as a resource person for this session. And I'm so excited to share my knowledge that I have in the AI in automation robotics, including the real world stuff that we, been doing over the years, and also uh, some roadmaps that how we see robotics and automation down the line in the next 10 to 15 years. So before we get into the process, let me quickly share my screen. Just confirm once you see my presentation. Uh, are you all able to see my presentation?
Yes, sir.
All all right, just a second. Let me do the full screen mode. Okay, okay, good. All right, just a minute. Okay, I'll quickly cover about my intro, then we get into the whole process of the session. Yeah, I think as Mahesh mentioned, my name is Kalyan Prasad, based out of Hyderabad, India. And yeah, I'm into AI and data science. It's close to close to 15 years of experience where I worked in a very diverse industries. So my academics are not from a typical computer science background. So I studied my commerce and finance, and then I worked a couple of years in a operation side. Then I transitioned to data science and AI on my own, and it's been close to 8, 9 years that I've been actively in this industry. Joined as a data scientist, now I've been actively leading data science and AI ML teams. Where we are trying to solve uh, uh, cutting edge problems in healthcare, marketing, sales, and finance at the moment. So, other than my profession, I try to balance both industry and academia. So, industry wise, I've been doing my full time job and all stuff. And academia wise, yeah, I've been actively teaching in one of the edtech platforms where my primary objective is to help uh, to teach people who are getting into the field of a data science and AI. So where I do different programs, starting from experience of 3 years to C-suite level folks. So currently I'm teaching AI in healthcare for business leaders. Other than this, I'm an open source and a community leader. So I lead one of the India's biggest Python community, which has a close to 20,000 user base. So we have been actively promote open source. We regularly do meetups, and we also do our flagship conference called PyCon Hyderabad. If you are interested, maybe I can talk about this later at the end of the session. Yeah, other than this, I've been actively do the open source advocacy in ecosystem and try to contribute to globally in terms of my speaking, in terms of contributing. So I have been presented in various global conferences in different countries so far, and I actively love to share knowledge to people and learn from the community. Yeah, more other than this, I am primarily a big travel freak. I love travel just to explore things, and yeah, I kill all my stress in my gym, and yeah, pretty much relax with watching movies. That's a brief intro about me. Okay, so I want this session to be slightly interactive rather than monopoly. I've been speaking. Maybe I'll just try to ask a couple of questions. If anyone of you are interested, feel free to unmute and talk, or maybe you can also drop your comments in the chat. I'll be actually looking into them. So before we get into the main context of robotics and automation, so just want to understand how many of you actually argued with a voice assistant maybe this week or let's say anytime. Did anyone argue with a voice assistant? For example, did you argue with applications like Siri, Google Voice, or maybe even with ChatGPT? Did anyone try that? Yes, no.
Participants, you can unmute yourself and you can answer the question.
Yeah, so if you don't want to speak, also maybe you can put your comments in the chat. Maybe I'll be happy to look into that
So
as well.
actually, I have disabled chat box here.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yes,
Yeah, I
sir.
think someone has raised Ambika. Yeah, please go ahead, madam. Okay, I think someone has raised hand. It's okay. Oh, sorry. I forgot. My video was off. So usually I do. For example, most of the times when I interact with my either with Siri, I use Apple. So I use either Siri or maybe when I actively use ChatGPT as well on a day-to-day basis when for different level of my works. So I keep arguing it in bunch of areas. So we are not. So I'm not the person who is doing that. So we're a bunch of people who do that. So the object here is like AI is still learning all our quirks over the period, and it is eventually getting more matured on a day by day basis. I'm sure you all also have tried it sometime. If not, just go and try, see how it works, right? Uh, okay, so let's uh, I just want to minimize this. Okay, this chat window. Okay, cool. Cool. Let's kick off this this thing's a little bit of a fun. Uh, so the image that you are seeing on my screen is basically showing a robot vacuum cleaner. It's also looking very cool in sunglasses and also dodging socks as it cleans the living room, right? If you observe this. And if you also look at on top, there is a speech bubble. It says that world domination, no, no, because it's just cleaning up, right? So what does it basically means is, right? So when we talk about AI and robotics, right, it's easy to imagine futuristic scenarios where robots take over the world. This is what we've been hearing, and I think internet is also sometimes confused with this sort of statements. But most of today, robots are focused on much more practical and sometimes like hilarious tasks like avoiding, in this example, avoiding socks and keeping our homes tidy, right? So this basically this image reminds us that AI in robotics is already part of our everyday life. So there are I'm not sure whether you have seen there are a bunch of vacuum cleaner which are there in robotics. So they try to do bunch of things on their own rather than we keep guiding them, right? Often in a ways they are helpful, approachable, and even a little tricky, as I mentioned, right? So that was my first previous slide where I was talking about a voice statement. So AI is still a little tricky because it's not that great in terms of everything. It's keep learning, it's keep getting matured on day by day basis. So as we dive into the world of AI in automation and robotics for next 1 hour, right? So so just keep in mind that technology is powerful and it is also here to make our lives uh, easier and maybe gives us a lifelong the way it would be. Okay. Now, Now, this will be the whole agenda of the session. So, we are trying to understand first that the shift is already happening. So, the shift from digital AI to physical AI. So far, what we've been seeing is all about the digital AI. Now the futuristic of a AI in either robotics or in the automation will be seeing more the physical AI. So this is the main crux of this session. So by the end of this session, you'll get a fair understanding about why I have talked about this statement, like from digital AI to physical AI. So what does it mean? So how the transition is happening. So we'll see some realistic scenarios. We'll see some realistic industry cases how things are advancing in different fields and also different industries where leveraging robotics and automation. So let's quickly talk about traditional automation. So we all know traditional automations are more like rule based because so all of them are pretty much static workflows. Let's say so it all works well in a controlled environments, but struggle with uncertainty and variability. So if there is any deviations or any uncertainty, that's where the traditional automation fails, right? So now from that to we are moving the physical AI. So what does it mean is basically physical AI is a capable where it adapt things on its own. So it correct the systems like if, meaning that if there are any mistake that happen in between the process, it learns through the intelligence, it corrects through the errors. So the how it basically happens is they improve with the experience, and they are capable of handling the edge cases, and as I mentioned they recover from errors autonomously. That's where the physical AI is going to land now. And what sort of impact that we are going to see is basically, you see, the statistic says that at the moment, 25% productivity surge in logistics and manufacturing, right? So what does it mean is, so AI-driven robots reduce the downtime and improve accuracy and also optimize the end-to-end workflows. So the biggest gains come from continuous operation and real-time decision making on the floor. So that's how it's going to be. And what is the milestone for the 2026 and also beyond, right, is that humanoid robots are moving from proto. So far, what we have seen is they're pretty much in the prototypes and all, but now with the advancements in the AI and technology, right? So things are moving from basic experimentation process, like basic I mean to say simple prototypes to production. So because so falling hardware cost and better foundation models are making this transition visible because of the rise of different AI models these days. So we've been bunch of a maturity model that's and also the slowly the hardware cost also slightly getting into the place where things are getting more easier to build more robust things. That's where the shift is happening now. Now, Now, one question to you all that how many of you actually feel that AI and robotics are the same thing? Any questions or sorry, any answers on this? How many of you actually feel that AI and robotics both are same things? No answers? Should I assume both are same? All right, never mind. I'll just tell you. So, robotics and AI are closely linked, but they are distinct fields with the separate objectives and methodologies. I'll tell you. So, robotics primarily focuses on the physical aspects of machines, like designing and building hardwares, right, that perform specific tasks, such as, for example, robotic arm assembling products or a drone delivering packages, right? That's what all the robotics are usually do, right? So these systems often rely on pre-programmed instructions. Pre-programmed instructions so function, right? So they are primarily pre-programmed and they try to act on those functions. So on the other hand, right, so AI is basically the brain behind the intelligent systems. So it involves again software capable of a learning, reasoning, and making decisions to respond dynamically to change to the changing conditions. So how so it adapts the things when things are changing, or it understands and try to dynamically act based on the situations. For example, we all been seeing that AI-enabled chatbot to provide the personalized customers support, right? We've been seeing all this. So if you open any of your banking applications, it provides more of the uh, customer-centric approach rather than giving all the false information, right? Or even if you look at the autonomous car, so it navigates to autonomously based on the condition that have been built, right? So now, now the interesting thing is, so are they basically, now we all know that both are have distinct objectives because both are slightly different, right? Now, what happens when we basically combines the AI with robotics, right? So when you combine this both, right? So it builds an advanced systems that blends the physical capabilities with intelligence. So we all have the physical capability, like robotics have all the physical, the hardware, everything in place. For that, if you add the intelligence, so the intelligence comes from the AI. So when you plug both of them, right? So it becomes the AI powered robots or AI powered systems that can, that can build many amazing things, right? For example, that can perceive them surroundings. So, for example, if we're talking about autonomous, it observes the surroundings, it processes the data in real time, and make more informed decisions and make more better in the essential industries that require precision, adaptability, and autonomy. So we'll talk more about precision, adaptability, autonomy, what kind of a role that they play in robotics in the next couple of minutes. But that's a whole, yeah. So the idea is when you combine these both technologies, we are able to build a lot of a very interesting intelligent systems in future, and that's where the whole future is going on now. Okay, so some of the core AI technologies which are leveraging by the robotics and all the automations are is computer vision and vision language models. So these technologies, what they basically do is they allows robot robots or even the automations to detect the objects, interpret the 3D environments, and understand the visual cues. So often, when combining the vision with the language, so the vision language models are nothing but so where you are trying to combine the visions are nothing but it could be audio, video, image, or anything, right? So when you combine the vision with the language, right? So text, right? So it becomes more robust application. So back in years, so if you see in 2022 when GPT was launched, it was fully on the text information, right? So we were not in a position to generate any image out of it. Now, if you look at the ChatGPT applications, so you can just give a simple prompt, or you can just ask ChatGPT so that it will generate an image. So the vision language models has got more matured over the periods, and they are doing a bunch of amazing things over the period now. So, for example, if you look at on the manufacturing also, right, the computer vision systems are used for quality control, robotic arms equipped with cameras that basically inspect the products for defects on the assembly lines, right? And also, I can give you other example, right? For example, if you are aware of a BMW, so BMW uses AI-driven vision systems to detect the imperfections in car bodies before they leave the factory, right? So before they come to the market, what they basically do is with the AI driven vision, they try to detect the imperfections. Are there if there are there any defects in the car bodies? Are there any loopholes in the car? I mean, that's what it's basically do with the AI driven system. So that if everything is fine, then they push it to the market. That's how it works, right? And machine learning and deep learning, I think we all know much about. I assume most of us are aware about machine learning and deep learning. So these techniques or these approaches enable robots to learn from data, adapt to new tasks, and make intelligent decisions. And on the reinforcement learning side, right? So it's again it's a part of a machine learning process in which autonomous agents learn to make decisions by interacting with their environment. So in reinforcement learning, right? So autonomous agents learn to perform a task by trial and error in the absence of any guidance from a human user. So that's how the whole process works in RL. And edge computing and NPUs are like massively growing now because these are like distributed computing frameworks that brings the enterprise applications closer to the data sources, such as IoT devices or your local edge services, right? So today, if you look at things, right, edge devices like robot sensors and autonomous vehicles produce and act on more than half of a business data at the source rather than in the cloud, enabling the real-time decision. So the sort of impact it is creating now, and the data volume is very driving a very huge demand from processing close to the action. So as a result, right, so dedicated AI hardware like NPU is nothing but neural processing units is seeing a rapid market growth, right, scaling from hundreds of millions to billions of a dollar in the next decade. That's what I think. If you look at I'm not sure whether you get a chance to see it or not, but otherwise, just go and look at the NVIDIA CEO statement. Henson, he has clearly talked about it. What are the upcoming things that are going to shape in the future? There are five key areas where he highlighted about it. Just go and read it. It's very interesting to see that. Go and look into it. Right. So again, if I want to give you some examples on the edge computing and NPUs, right? So autonomous vehicles, for example, such as Google's I think there's a company Alphabet, which is like Google subsidiary company, and Alphabet subsidiary company has developed a subsidiary company named Waymo, which is like an autonomous, which basically develops autonomous vehicles, and it uses a neural processing unit to process sensor data from cameras, radar on board, and uh, allowing instant decision making while driving. So that's what the Waymo is capable of doing. But just go and read. Waymo is also doing bunch of interesting stuff. So all these things are you can find this information in the internet. But again, there are a bunch of links which I also have in my slides. Just you go and explore it. You get to understand how things are evolving in this field. And a few more is NLP. So again, we all rely NLP on data. We all been using NLP from from I think close to I think 6 7 years now, because that's where CD and all these things came into the picture, right? So in terms of the robotics, right? So NLP enables robots to understand and respond into human speech, like facilitating the seamless human robot collaboration, right? For example, in healthcare, how this basically works is there are surgical robots. I'm not sure whether you heard or not, but in US country, in outside of India, there are countries in US or Europe. So there are surgical robots which can be controlled via voice commands, and that allows surgeons to operates hand-free and also focus on the procedures, right? So robots help the surgeons parallelly, so but they hear the surgeon commands and act accordingly, right? And predictive analytics again. So we, with the help of a AI, we used to forecast equipment failures, optimize maintenance, and also minimize the downtime. Right. So if you look at the in factories, right. So predictive analytics helps us to monitor the machinery health and also predicts when the maintenance is actually needed, because so that so we reduce the unexpected breakdowns and improving efficiency, right? So so there's a company called GE, right? So GE uses predictive analytics in its industrial IoT platform to optimize the turbine maintenance schedules. And finally, agentic AI. Of course, we all been hearing agentic AI. I think close to 2 years now. From 2024, we have been hearing agentic AI, but it got more much matured in 2025, and now the 2026 is full on agentic AI, and down the line it will be more on agentic AI. And much more, right? So agentic AI again refers to the self-correcting systems that can make autonomous decisions, execute your workflows with minimal human oversight. So the human intervention will be slightly less, because that's where the agentic AI ecosystem, so the bunch of agents who work on their own with a minimal human intervention here, right? So there's also a concept called people talk about human in the loop, right? But now it's not human in the loop; it's more on the human on the loop. So there is a difference between the human in the loop versus human on the loop. You can read about it. I'm not going to talk about because it slightly deviate uh, the context of our discussion here. Uh, so again, in agentic AI, so for example, Amazon's Kiva robots autonomously manage the inventory and navigate the warehouse flows and adapt all those changing layouts, which is increasing the productivity and also reducing the human layer. So all of these technologies are playing a very key role in terms of developing robots, robotic applications, and also the automation. Again, at any point of time, if you have any questions, you can either unmute and ask me, or maybe you can ask at the end of session. It's up to you how you want to do it, but I'm happy to feel free to disturb me at any point of time. Now, what is the role of AI in robotics? So far, what we have seen is we have understood the shift, how the shift is happening, and we have also understood the differences between the AI and also the robotics, and we have seen what kind of technologies that we are leveraging to build these applications. Now, let's slightly dig into it a little deeper to understand what kind of a role that AI is actually playing on a higher level in terms of robotic applications, right? So AI plays a very transformative role in robotics by infusing the cognitive intelligence into the mechanical system, as I mentioned earlier, right? So what we are trying to do is, so we are trying to blend the physical system with this cognitive intelligence so that it allows the robot to act intelligently, adapt to the changes, and also collaborate efficiently with humans. There's always a statement in the past that AI will destroy the humans. This is what people keep talking about. But AI will not destroy the humans, but AI will, at some levels, AI will try to replace the humans. If you are not trying to leverage AI, then it might certainly replace humans. That is something it will happen. But again, it will not destroy the humans. Right. So these are the some of the key pointers. For example, autonomy. So autonomy, how it works is basically it AI enables robot to perform task independently, from understanding or from navigation to the problem solving without the constant human intervention in this place, right? And perception again. So AI helps robots interpret sensory data, for example, such as a visual or auditory inputs to understand their surroundings and act accordingly. In terms of adoption, for example, we all seen that ML, NLP, or computer vision or agentic AI allows robot to learn from the past outcomes. All right, past outcomes, adapt the changes, adjust things based on the experimentation, and learn from the errors and behave dynamically. Right. And reasoning. Robots can make a very good informed decisions based on the logic, data analysis, and also the situational awareness. So they are capable of doing things in time. And interaction, right? So when you, as I mentioned, so when you add natural language and also the emotion recognition, right, which enables robot to engage naturally with humans and also improve the collaboration and also the accessibility part. That's where it's going to be. Now we'll dive into a little deeper to see how different industries are leveraging the robotics and automation, and what kind of a applications that they build, or what kind of a problem that they are, solving in real time in different industries. Okay. So let's look at the manufacturing and smart factories, right? So if you look at this image, so this is like, whole connected factory in action, where, you have the innovation idea, and you also look at the agility, you also look at the risk, you also look at the efficiency, which means that so it all starting from the idea innovation, and how effectively you are trying to implement it, and also what sort of a risk we are getting out of it, and also how efficiently it is trying to solve the problem. So that's a whole factory. It's in the manufacturing, right? So we'll slightly dive into deep to understand on this on especially on this application side, as on the manufacturing and smart factory. So AI powered robotic arms automate assembly and welding, so improving speed and precision. So what they are trying to do is automating all the uh, whole assembly process and also the welding process, so which speed up things and also the precision. So how they are doing is the computer vision systems enable so once they are doing this, so the computer vision systems enable the real time defect detection, right? So when you do this, so the vision system go and see whether are there any defect or any quality control process, and then the predictive maintenance reduce the downtime and the cost here. Right, so that's how the whole things working in the manufacturing and smart factory. So this is already happening in play, but not aggressively, but eventually it will be more now. At the moment, it's slightly less, but eventually you'll see a lot of things happening like this. For example, as I mentioned, BMW uses AI-driven robots for assembly and quality checks in their smart factories. So that's how they try to do. If we let's look at the warehouse and logistics automation, right? So in warehouses, right, autonomous mobile robots. We also call it as AMRs. So what they basically do is autonomous mobile robots. They transport the inventory and streamline the warehouse operations. That's they do, and also they try to do the inbound automations, like for example, depalletizing speed ups the goods handling. So it means that with the help of a depalletizing, we speed up the how we are handling the goods, right? So it automates the process quickly. And also, if you look at the image, right? So vision-based inventory management systems ensures that we have the accurate stock levels, so, right? So by trying to implement all these things, right? So we had almost like 25% of the process improving our productivity, and also reported in our logistics. So the overall logistics. So in order to do all these things in the manual level, it takes a lot of effort, time, human things, and all. But now with the help of these robots, machines, right, and also the automation, we are like almost 25% of the time we have slightly improved the productivity, right? So the most of the time we can focus on the other key areas. So because my machines are capable of doing all these things. So I heard that Amazon fulfillment centers deploy thousands of their keyboard robots for inventory movement and also the sorting process. Like there are a bunch of robots where they try to move from inventory and also sorting. And healthcare and surgical robots. For example, AI enables our precision surgery with 3D vision and also robotics, right? For example, what do I mean is the gesture and the emotion recognition improve the patient robot interaction, right? So again, it all happens through the machine, and also the patient. So the based on the emotions of the patient, so and the gesture, right? So it recognize and improves the interaction between the patient and robotics. So all these things are already happening slightly, but again, they're not too much. But eventually, it will be more. So we'll also see some statistics at the end, but that's how it's there. I mean, that is how the world is evolving at the moment. And also with the help of automation, right? So it reduces the human error and also the recovery time. For example, there is a use case called the Da Vinci surgical system, which basically uses AI for minimally invasive procedures, which was there in the John Hopkins leads in the surgical robot. So John Hopkins has lead which in the surgical robots. So there they have a system that uses AI to for minimizing the invasive procedures. So that's exactly how what you're seeing in the image, right? So that's how it does. So that the image basically is all robots. It's not the manual. So that's how they try to do the surgicals and also understand the gestures, emotions, based on the interaction between the patient and robot, and do things. Okay. Autonomous vehicles and drones. I think autonomous vehicles are there from a long time, and again, drones also. We've been seeing drones in many areas. I'm not sure whether you have seen it or not. There are, for example, in agriculture, there are drones which are doing the cropping. Instead of a farmer doing the cropping in the field, there are drones which are going and placing the crops in the field. So that's how the evolution has happened. Right. So when we talk about autonomous vehicles and the drones, especially, so autonomous vehicles primarily rely on the multi-sensory architectures, meaning that combining the LiDAR cameras and radar for robust environmental awareness. For example, Amazon uses AI-powered robotics and systems in its fulfillment centers to automate the warehousing, picking, sorting, and delivering tasks, dramatically boosting efficiency and delivery speed. So it has deployed hundreds or thousands of robots across global operations and use AI tools for the route planning, the delivery optimization, and also the operational decision support. On other side, for example, as I mentioned, Alphabet's autonomous driving subsidiary like Waymo. Go and check what is Waymo. So Waymo is one of the subsidiary companies of Alphabet. So it's basically operates AI-driven self-driving vehicles, including robo-taxis and autonomous trucking tests, showing that AI applied directly in the transportation. Right. So Google's research, there is also a mobility AI is advancing the transportation system, simulation, optimization, and also the fleet management tools using AI, which is helping the cities and logistics network improve planning and traffic flow. There is also a new startup in Ahmedabad. I am not able to recollect the name, but what they are also trying to work on these autonomous vehicles. So they have fixed some cameras in the car, and they are going to see how it is performing in our Indian roads. I'm not sure how effectively, but I think I've read this news somewhere recently, but I'm not able to recollect the name. But they are really doing a very interesting stuff in India. If they are going to succeed, then I think it's going to be a super good evolution in India, especially on the autonomous vehicle systems, right? Delivering drones again. So there are bunch, as I mentioned, bunch of companies. We already have Amazon, Google. They are already doing the operationally right in the drone side, and real-time decision making, right? So when we talk about real-time decision making, because the real-time decision making is very crucial, because you are especially on the autonomous vehicles or drones, so they are able to understand, they should be in a position to understand how the surroundings are, how they are adapting to the changes, or the changes could be weather conditions, how they are reacting to the weather conditions or external factors. So in such cases, the real-time decision making is very critical for the systems, because safety and efficiency are very important in this dynamic environment, right? So, for example, John Hopkins AI Lab highlight that these innovations are shaping the future of air mobility and logistics, especially on the autonomous vehicles and transportation. So so all these real-time systems, when we talk about, right, so it generates the data every second, and based on that, how our systems are adopting, how our systems are understanding, while also keeping the safety and also the efficiency things in mind, and the whole the dynamic environment and how they are acting accordingly, right? So that's where the whole process is. Okay. Now that we have seen different ending again, I have listed a couple of industry applications. Again, there are a bunch of areas where robotics are happening, not only limited to these industries, but again, there are a bunch of industries. But it is difficult to list out all the different industry applications, considering the time limit of our session. But the advancements are happening in many fields. Like in the many fields, we just go and read it on the Google. I think you will find a lot of domains where the robotics and automations are playing a very key role. Now, if you remember the first slide, what I was talking about is we are slightly moving from the digital AI to physical AI. So, what do I mean by physical AI? So, let's slightly dig deep dive to understand what physical AI is and why we are moving there, right? So, so physical AI basically highlights how it differs from the traditional robotics, as I told you. So it means that it refers to the systems that enable machines to autonomously perceive, understand, reason, understand, do reasoning about it, and also interact with the physical world in the real time. So that is what the physical AI is all about. And some of the key points to understand a physical AI is beyond pre-programming. So if you look at the traditional digital AI, right, where we have a pre-programming and it followed the function and instructions. Now, what we are trying to, we are moving beyond pre-programming, right? So unlike traditional robots, so they follow fixed instructions. That's what the traditional robots do. Now, in physical AI systems are adaptive, so they perceive the things, they perceive the environment, they learn from the experience and adjust their behavior accordingly. Again, real-time decision making, because these systems can navigate from unpredictable and complex environments, right? And making real time decisions on the fly. Like, it has to act on the situation instantly, right? Autonomous deployment, because physical AI is moving from, as I told you, we are moving from prototypes to the real world, like, from research labs to the real world production. So from with 2026 making a lot of a significant milestone that we've been seeing in autonomous robots. And autonomous warehouse robots, again, deployment, right? Warehouse deployment. Again, this is the example that I want to talk about. I think I already covered in previous point, but again, just want to mention that, right. So a lot of retail companies and also the e-commerce companies, for example, Amazon, they centers use the robots that autonomously navigate the warehouse flows, adapt to the changing layouts, and also optimize the inventory movement without the human intervention. So that's where we've been going in the AI. Okay, now there are these this slide is physical AI is already in some cases, which is already in the production, which means that they are already doing things in real time. For example, right. For example, in power grid. So inspect power grid is nothing but so AI powered drones and robots inspect the power lines and substations to identify the faults and also reducing the need for a dangerous manual inspection. So that's what it's already is happening. And surgical assistant, I think, as I already show you, that's not a, like, the image is it's not like, just like a creative image, it's really happening. So robots assist surgeons with a precision task, leveraging the real time imagining and AI driven guidance to improve outcomes and also the reduce errors. So that's what we're doing in urban navigating city streets. Again, for example, autonomous vehicles and delivery robots navigate city streets, delivering goods and also services efficiently. So I think it already happening in outside of India. Eventually, I believe that we'll also see them in India soon. uh, Working alongside humans in, right, of course, because robots works alongside humans in warehouse, so handling all the repetitive or heavy tasks and increase the overall productivity. So one thing you always should remember is the AI and human collaboration will make things more realistic, and that's where we build a lot of interesting stuff down the line future. It's not something like AI will work everything and humans will be no more. So people always feel that humans will be replaced by AI. Not exactly, but at some point it will do, only if you're not leveraging AI. But the collaboration between the AI and humans and also makes things much better in terms of robotics, right? When robots and AI work together, again, including the human collaborations, we will able to build a lot of interesting stuff and optimize a lot of automation and improve things more efficiently. Again. So the future will be more humanoid robots and physical AI, right? So as I mentioned, so we humanoid robots are moving from just experimentations to the realistic world, right? So as I told, physical AI will impact industries from manufacturing to healthcare or retail or even the autonomous vehicles, drones, whatever you just call it, agriculture, right? So this where it's going to play a very key role. I'll give you a very realistic example. For example, Tesla Optimus robot, and there is also a SoftBank papers are advancing real world humanoid applications. Right. So if you look at these are all the leading humanoid robots over the place, you will see all these things will eventually make a lot of difference in our real world. So, so okay, we've been talking about the humanoid robot, physical robot, but how it's going to be in the future, right? So when we see such statements or foresee the forecast, so what sort of impact and what it's going to be and how it's going to be there in what years, right? What kind of impacts? So humanoid robots are basically designed to navigate environment, again, built for humans. Again, not to replace humans again. This is very important. They are built for humans, which means that they can operate in existing infrastructure without costly modifications. So these are some of the statistics if you look on slides, right? So industry projections are like saying that by 2035, right, there could be 2 million humanoid robots in use, and by 2050, up to 300 million, with the market size of 1.4 to 1.7 trillion USD dollars. Again, I'm not sure whether we all, at least whether I'll be alive, but 2050 or not. But down the line, I think the future, the next generation will see all these things in a very realistic way, right? Um, there are a lot of companies which are investing in this. For example, Tesla, Boston Dynamics so all these are trying to test this robot so for their operational task or their for factory task, right, or for the logistics task. So they're already being in the piloted in the healthcare for example, as we film from patient assistant to manufacturing. So all this going to be come in place down the line in future. So for what we have seen is so fascinating, right? Okay, we are coming up with basically, we're coming up with humanoid robots. Okay, how we are going to develop all these things, and companies are most companies are investing a lot of money to build these applications and all. Okay, all these are very fascinating to hear, but let's also understand what sort of a challenges that we face and how we have to overcome this, because it's not that easy when we talk about humanoid robots do these things, or physical AI will help us to make things much better or smarter. But in order to build those effective applications, there are a bunch of challenges that we encounter throughout the process. Okay, right. So first, like a sim to real gap, which is nothing but simulation to the real gap. So robotics, right, often learn in simulation, but in real world environments, they are unpredictable, right? Right, so because it's not that mature. But I'll give you a very realistic example. Autonomous vehicles are trained in a virtual cities where I mean, like for example, cities like in US and all, they are very good. They train on virtual city, which, or maybe they train on something place where they can understand everything. But if you bring that same autonomous vehicle, they might struggle with unexpected road conditions. So, for example, if they look at the manhole suddenly in India, because in India we have a lot of manholes and different roads, also a lot of holes in between the roads. But when you bring that such vehicles into these situations, that's where they fail, right? So that there is a real gap here. So that is what we are going to improve in down the line. And safety and trust, because physical AI systems can make errors that cause again that can cause damage, because after all they are just missions, right? So again, they do not have ethics, they do not have emotions, they do not have understandings, feelings like the way humans have. So human oversight remains still crucial in this process. That's the reason why I keep telling you the collaboration with AI and humans are really important over the period. Again, so AI is not completely going to work on its own without human intervention, but the collaboration with humans in AI will make things more constructive, right? Data management, because this is very crucial, because there's a bunch of data that's being generated every day, like whole bunch of data. So in order to let's say the trained robots, intelligent robots, it requires massive amounts of data, like the sensor data, the 3D models, the digital twins, you just name it. So so it requires like a whole bunch of data that required to train this robots and physically more effectively to work effectively. Otherwise, again, we end up with a lot of, and most importantly, regulatory gaps, because regulations are still evolving. For example, we keep improving day by day. For example, there is developing frameworks for autonomous drones, and also, for example, Europe is also working on AI safety standard for robotics, and also different countries are working different standard for robotics. So the regulations, ethics, governance, all these things are really important, because safety, we cannot completely go beyond these regulations or go beyond these rules. So all these things you just need to keep in mind. Right. For a simple example, I'll give you. I'm sure you all have watched the movie called Robot, which was acted by Rajnikant, right? I mean, if you see in the part two process, so there is a high chance. There was a chance where robot was not in, listening to the scientist who has created, right? It goes beyond the imagination. So again they rejected because it does not follow the regulations or the guidance. They feel that it is a threat to the humans. So so we should keep all these things in mind while we are training or we're building applications. Otherwise, it will be a big disaster. Right. Now the agentic AI convergence. So when we talk about the physical AI human robot, the agentic AI convergence also play a very key role here. So so far from 2024 to 2025, the agentic AI has been like a lot of boom. But what happens is so over from last 2 years, when from my experience, what I have seen thing. So we were trying to build agentic application, but most of them are pretty much in the prototypes or MEP, but they're not good in the production level. So if you also look at the statistics, hardly there was a single digit which was in the productions on the agentic applications. But now the convergence is happening, right? So when the AI merges with the physical AI in robotics, right? So what happens is, so it enables a robot to autonomously plan multiple steps or multi-step task, adapt to the new environment, recover from the failures, and operate under uncertainty with human in the loop oversight. That's what I've been talking about, right? Human in the loop oversight. So again, in most of the applications, for example, if you take a healthcare, right, the surgical robot what I talk about, so they adjust the procedures based on the patient feedback and learn from the previous surgeries, right? For example, if at any point, if there is anything that is missed in one of the patient process, right? So they learn from them, but next time when then they are trying to do the similar approach, right? So they can do things more effectively because they have learned the pattern, they have understood the feedback from the previous experiences, and they're going to perform well. And for example, even the lot of industry report says that, for example, reports like Forbes and also the IBM report says that 40% of enterprises will be embedded task specific agents by 2020, which is nothing but what's the goal of agentic application? Specific task focused rather than like a more generalized, right? Right. That's how it could be, especially in industries like healthcare, warehouse, and manufacturing, right? And, that's what we're going to see over this year in 2026. And implementation strategy for organizations, right? So start with the high ROI and also the low risk applications, right? Then I think you may do things well better. For example, low risk application, it could be a warehouse automation or a quality control, but start with look for a high ROI and also the low risk application, because if you go with a high risk application with IRY, then it will be like, very disaster. For example, recently, if you look at the Salesforce company, I'm not sure whether you have it or not. So what have Salesforce has done is, so Salesforce has fired a lot of employees because they have completely dependent on the AI to perform a lot of things, but that's where they failed completely and they get into the losses because for not having humans. So that's a very blunder mistake that they have made, right? So it will not work like that. And build data infrastructure. For example, systematic data collection and labeling are essential. Labeling, when I talk about labeling, data labeling is very important. I'll tell you a very realistic example. When ChatGPT has launched in 2022, so what they have done is they hired people from Kenya for just doing the data labeling. So they hired for $7 or $8. Again, there is also a very interesting article on the internet on this. Just go and search that ChatGPT hired data labeling from Kenya. Yeah. So they paid some $6, $7 just to make the data labels, because data labels are really important, right? So that's how they have done. And yeah, selecting tech stack, again, industry standard tech stack. Just follow, for example, Hugging Face models, or the any open source models, vision models, or robotic softwares, right? So always rely on these things to build systems. uh, Assemble talent, because talent is really important these days. Talent is very underrated. It also, at the time, it's also overrated. We do not have a great enough yet talent. We've been improving day by day because technology is massively evolving. We do not have that capable talent from people to adopt all these things. But eventually it will get matured. But in order to build all these successful projects, we require a very good talent. It could be like, ML engineers, or it could be robotics, of course, domain experts. Without domain experts, we cannot build successful industry applications, and also the specialist. Right. Most importantly, continuous learning, because implement those feedback loops, like learn from mistakes, retrain models with real world data. Right. So that's how you will be succeed in terms of, so understand, adopt, iterate, and just improve. So it's like a whole iterative process. There is no single process, like, once you build it, everything goes on show or on fly. It will not work like that. It should be more iterative, understand things, understand, experiment things, understand loops, take the feedback loops, just keep training it. Yeah, most importantly, uh, conduct bias testing, obtain safety certifications, and maintain the human oversight protocols in place, because safety and ethics are really important, especially in the AI-driven applications. So the key takeaways of the session is that, we saw the shift from 2026 marks the shift from prototype to mainstream. The physical AI and robots are in mainstream, and we also saw that humanoid robots area will evolve. And what UBS says that 2 million humanoids by 2025, and if we look at the investment 1.4 to 1.7 trillion market opportunity it's being at. And for educators, right, so teach AI plus robotics integration in your economics. Again, there are a lot of bunch of open source stuff and also the industry standards which are available. Just look at the references and try to educate people. For practitioners, I think. just experiment with tools. Like in open source, we have a lot of open source tools which are available. We don't need to go for proprietary software for most of them. Again, start with small use cases and see how you can make high ROI, and then eventually build more robust applications, right? Uh, so these are some of the references of this sessions. You can just have a look. Uh, with this, I'll take a pause. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Mm,
Participants, if you want to discuss anything on AI in robotics, please unmute yourself and have discussion with Kalyan sir.
yeah, if you don't have any questions, you can connect me on any of these channels. If you have any feedback, suggestions, complaints, so on me, just feel free to come and write me here. I'll respond to each of and every message which I receive on these platforms.
One more thing, the session will be continued by Kalyan sir tomorrow as well. Uh, so you can prepare some questions on AI in robotics and ask tomorrow as well. The same session will be continued by sir tomorrow. Okay. So if there are no questions, let us wind up the session. So
Yeah,
okay. Okay. Sir has given introduction on digital AI to physical AI. We have to think about physical AI. That is, let us explore what is physical AI. And also, sir has given introduction on core AI technologies. That is particularly vision language model (VLMs). So we better to explore this concept along with the computer vision, because when we take VLM, it is a combination of computer vision and natural language processing. So I request all of you people to explore the VLM concept, visual language model.
yeah,
And the after that, sir has explained role of AI in robotics. That is in surgical robotics, very sophisticated applications. So at least we should dig into it. What is happening nowadays? That is in healthcare also. We are making use of AI. They are all very sensitive. That is, make use of AI in surgery. It is very, very difficult. That is, we need to have a model with high precision and high accuracy. And also autonomous vehicle, for example, Waymo and Tesla. So we should try to understand what exactly happening. And also, sir has given introduction on agentic AI and predictive analysis. So especially, you have also taken a session on agentic AI in previous sessions. They're all very basic, but in future, we should try to build some sophisticated agentic AIs. So with this, I thank Kalyan sir for your precious time.
yeah. Thanks again for having me. Again, as I mentioned, if you have anything, feel free to reach out to me at any point of time. I'll be happy to talk, chat, or share whatever I know, or maybe I know from you. From let's collaborate and learn from each other. Again, thanks again for being patient and listening to me from the last 1 hour. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the session. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks,
You're
Mahesh. Yeah.
welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Dear participants, just wait for 10 more minutes. I'm contacting resource person for next session.
Okay, I'll leave Mahesh. Thanks.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dear participants, our next resource person will join at 7:20. So I request you to kindly wait till 7:20. Dear participants, so let us welcome our resource person, Mr. Gajendra Deshpande. Sir has already taken session on LLM security. Now, sir is going to take a session on AI applications in healthcare, finance, and agriculture. Gajendra, sir, I welcome you.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay, sir. Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thanks, Dr. Mahesh, sir, for giving me one more opportunity to share the information regarding AI applications in healthcare, finance, and agriculture. So again, I'm not going into the depth of these things because most of the times the steps are common. You need a data set, you are going to do monitoring, all those things. But we'll see what are the example applications of artificial intelligence in healthcare, finance, and agriculture. Okay, so it's a general topic and it may take around 55 minutes to 1 hour. Okay. So now this presentation is divided into three parts. So in the first part, I'll be dealing with AI applications in healthcare. In second part, I'll be dealing with AI applications in agriculture. And in the third part, I'll be dealing with AI applications in finance. So now if we see artificial intelligence is transforming every field. So healthcare, agriculture, finance, they are just few of the example which we are considering in this talk. Right. So when you consider the definition of artificial intelligence, to me, it's just an algorithm which is doing some smart work. Okay, so it's just a better algorithm, nothing else. Right, so it is helping us to automate the things, right? Automate the regular processes and reduce the human intervention and increase the accuracy. Okay, so similarly here, AI is transforming healthcare by improving accuracy, efficiency, personalization, and accessibility. Okay, so accuracy is very, very important with respect to healthcare applications because if there are more number of false positives, then it's going to affect the life of a patient. Okay, and it needs to be personalized also. So the example for personalization can be, let's assume that one patient has visited the doctor and he has some predefined health conditions. Maybe the patient is suffering from kidney disease or diabetic or he's suffering from blood pressure. So in that case, the doctor cannot give a generic prescription. Right? So here AI can be embedded into the application. So whenever the doctor is adding a prescription, any tablet or syrup or any injection, right, it should show information regarding the possible interaction with the existing drugs, existing treatments, existing medication. Okay, so that can be avoided and patient can be given appropriate medication. So that kind of personalization is possible when we consider AI applications in healthcare. Now, when we consider AI applications in healthcare, there are different areas where we can apply AI. So, for example, we can apply it in diagnosis for early and accurate detection. We can apply it in imaging, right, for faster and precise analysis. We can apply it in drug discovery, right? So, with advancements in AI, we can reduce the discovery of the drug and we can reduce the go-to-market time of the drug, right? So that is because we are going to reduce the R&D time. And then remote monitoring is possible, right? Where the advantage will be the preventive healthcare, right? Mental health can be another application where we can provide scalable and emotional support. Hospital management softwares are possible, right? Which will help us to reduce the cost and improve the efficiency. Then next is cyber security. So here the benefit can be to secure the patient data. So we'll cover how cyber security is important for uh, AI applications in healthcare also. There are different standards. Right? So whenever you are dealing with any AI applications in healthcare or even any software applications in healthcare, right? So there are some standards, and your application needs to be complied to that particular standard. Now, one of the first application we can consider is disease diagnosis and clinical decision support. So here AI will help us to analyze medical records, lab reports, and symptoms and assist doctors in early and accurate diagnosis. So application can be cancer detection. So it can be breast, lung, and skin, and several other types of detection. The next is diabetes and heart disease risk prediction. And then rare disease identification. Right. So there are several applications here. Then technologies, right? So we have machine learning, deep learning, and natural language processing techniques, even computer vision techniques. Right. So we know that there are many sub sub parts in AI, right? So these can be used in combination or independently to achieve the goal. So example can be IBM Watson Health. So that supports oncologists with evidence-based treatment suggestions. Okay, so here for disease diagnosis and clinical decision support, I was just reading one article which has come up in this year's this month's Electronics for You magazine, right? So it says that how you can use Wi-Fi technology, right, to measure the heart rate, right? So you can use Wi-Fi sensing technology to measure the heart rate, to measure the breathing rate, to measure the sleep patterns, to detect the faults of a patient. Right? So many applications are there, and the great advantage is patient need not have to wear any wearable devices. Okay, so that's because whatever Wi-Fi device is installed at your home, that will do the job. Right? And here there is a heavy involvement of deep learning, machine learning techniques. Because whatever signals these Wi-Fi devices get, they are raw in nature, and those raw signals needs to be converted to some meaningful information, and that is possible only with the help of AI ML technology. The next is medical imaging and radiology. So here AI can read X-rays, CT scan reports, MRIs, right? Much faster compared to the human beings and with more high accuracy. And it can detect the abnormalities that are invisible to the human eye. That's because it can even detect the smallest of the smallest problems in these images. And so applications can be tumor detection, stroke identification, TB and pneumonia screening. So technologies such as convolutional neural networks and computer vision can be used because most of the times these X-ray reports, CT scans, MRIs, these are all images, right? And these needs to be fed to the AML models. So impact is faster diagnosis and reduced workload for radiologists. Then next is drug discovery and development, right? So you might have seen during COVID, right? So we could develop the vaccines uh, in comparably less time, right, compared to the previous pandemics. That was only possible because of the advancement in the technology. Okay, and that advancement can be the AI/ML, right? And in future it will be quantum computing, right? Or maybe even quantum machine learning, quantum AI. So how AI helps here is it speeds up drug discovery from years to months, and it can predict molecule behavior and their side effects. So applications, COVID-19 drug research, as I have explained just now, right? So many of the companies they could release the vaccine, right, in a very less amount of time compared to the previous pandemics. Personalized medicine is possible depending on the health condition of the person, right? So doctors can prescribe or AI can prescribe the specific medications and it can avoid possible side effects and the interactions with the existing drug. So there is repurposing of existing drugs is also possible. So example can be you can use Google's DeepMind, right? So it can predict protein structures accurately. So all these examples you can uh, go to the Google and search for these applications and go through them and study how they work. The next is remote patient monitoring and wearables. Right. So now you see we are in an era where patients don't need to visit the doctors unless it is really necessary. There are many things that are happening through telemedicine, right? So where hospitals like Apollo, right, where you can book the appointments online, connect to the doctor online. Doctor prescribes the tests, and you can undergo those tests and submit the diagnosis report and again connect back to the doctor and doctor can give you the medicine online, so you need not have to visit the doctor also. So remote patient monitoring is possible, and even with respect to hospital it is possible, right? So you can place some cameras where you can continuously monitor the patients in a room, right? And if something abnormal happens you can immediately take action. Right. Then similarly, wearables, right? We have now smart gadgets like smart rings, smart watches, right? So that can measure your uh, heart rate, right? Walking rate, right? Walking pattern, and they can predict if there are any abnormalities in your walking pattern, right? What is the prediction that you may fall whenever you are going for a walk in the morning, right? So those things are possible here. So how AI can help? So it can continuously monitor patients' vitals, and they can predict emergencies before they occur. So applications like cardiac monitoring, elderly care, right? So post surgery recovery, right? So these are the possible applications here. So devices our smartwatches and IoT medical sensors can be used here, right? Which can continuously monitor the patients, right? And they can stream the data. And if there are anything abnormal, then they can report it to the doctors or authorities. So benefits are reduced hospital visits and early alerts for doctors and caregivers. Then now we have something called virtual health assistants and chatbots. That's so this is where the advancements in AI like large language models and generative AI applications, agentic AI applications will come into picture here. Earlier we used to have chatbots, but they were all static chatbots. There were fixed questions and there were fixed replies for every question. So uh, to make sure that it looks realistic, right? So for a single question, earlier we used to configure multiple answers. So system used to pick one of those multiple answers randomly and display it to the user. Right? So that was the thing there. But now that is not the case. We don't have any fixed question or fixed replies, right? So you can use open source LLMs like Llama by Meta and some other companies, right? Train them on your data and it will reply accordingly based on the user's question. So it is much more personalized. It looks much more realistic than the just chatbots which were there 5 years ago. Right? So they can answer patient queries 24 cross 7. They can schedule appointments and they can provide medication reminders. Right. So here I can just give one more example. I was attending a Thai Global Summit last year in Bangalore. And AI bots used to give us a call, right? Saying that we are calling from Thai Global Summit, we are calling from Bangalore Tech Summit. This is the seminar which is scheduled from this time to this time. If you are interested, kindly register. After this call, we will send you the registration form link in your WhatsApp. And the great thing, and it's amazing to see that everything is done by AI. Okay, not even a single human intervention. So AI is making a call, AI is talking to us, AI is replying appropriately based on our inputs, and finally it is also taking a follow-up. Okay. Then applications are mental health support, symptom checking, and telemedicine support. Right? So example application which you can explore is Babylon Health, right, which is a AI-powered symptom checker and consultation platform. Right? So don't take consultations on Google or ChatGPT. Okay? They are not properly trained. They are not specially trained, right, for this purpose. So you have to refer AI models, right, or AI applications which are designed specifically for the purpose. Right? So don't take any consultation, right, or don't try to get symptom checked on ChatGPT. Then mental health and behavioral analysis. Right? So here AI can help detect stress, depression, anxiety through speech or text analysis. Right? It supports therapists with insights. Right? So again, here there can be wearable devices, right, which you can wear it on your head, right, which can capture maybe the muscle activities, right, on your forehead or on your face, and try to detect, right, whether you are in a depression or anxiety or some other, right. So I was also seeing a video uh, of Dipinder Goyal, I think CEO of Zomato, right. So he was wearing a small device, right, and it used to measure his uh, what do you can say, signals, right? Because he was stuttering, and it used to measure, right, at what point he was stuttering and what is the root cause and so on. Right? So possible applications can be here are chat-based therapy, suicide risk reduction, exam stress and anxiety monitoring. Right. So these things are possible with respect to tech and health tech. So you can create a chatbot, right, so based on your inputs, based on your queries, right, so chatbot itself will try to act like a counselor and provide a therapy. So technologies used here can be natural language processing, speech recognition, and sentiment analysis, right. Then hospital operations and management, right? So AI can help you optimize the hospital workflows and reduce cost and wait time. So it can also provide an estimate for the patient, right? So whenever patient is visiting, right, this can be the probable wait time, right? After so many minutes, you can get an entry or get a appointment, or you get to meet the doctor, right? So this usually happens with respect to airports, right? So it says that okay, time to this particular gate is so many minutes, right? By walk this many minutes, by vehicle this many minutes, and so on, right? So similar thing you can do here. Right? So applications can be bed occupancy prediction and staff scheduling, supply chain optimization. Right? So these things can be performed better with this by using AI. Right? So benefits can be improved patient experience and better resource utilization. Then personalized and precision medicine. I have already given the example. So here medicine treatment can be provided based on genetics, lifestyle, and the history, not only based on the uh, reports, not only based on the diagnosis reports. So applications can be cancer treatment, personalization, dosage optimization, and genetic disorder management. The next is AI in medical cybersecurity and fraud detection. So it can help detect insurance fraud and it can also secure electronic health records. So here you can use blockchain uh, to create the electronic health records, and your health records can be tamper proof. Right, so that is one great application here, and it helps you to settle the. It helps even patients and even insurance companies to settle the claims really fast. Apart from blockchain, you can combine AML here, right, to detect the possible frauds. Right, you maybe frauds from the diagnosis centers or from doctor or even from patient's side. And so applications can be anomaly detection, identity and access management, and secure data sharing. Now, these applications, if you consider, they are more towards technology and not towards the healthcare. But these things can be used in healthcare. For example, identity and access management. You are creating the EHRs, electronic health records, but who should get access to what data? Right? So it can be determined by implementing identity and access management effectively. The next is public health and epidemic prediction. Right? So we had many things like epidemics, pandemics, and so on. So it can predict the disease outbreaks and assist the government and hospitals in planning. Right? So we had seen during COVID time there was a lot of mess. So such mess can be avoided if we implement AML or basically the advancements in the technology. So application, we can predict the COVID style outbreak prediction. We can plan for vaccinations. We can uh, model the disease spread. Now, key considerations moving forward. Right, so there are many key considerations. One is healthcare data. The next is transparency, level of automation, regulatory environment, training and education, then deployment environments. It's not like okay, we just like the technology and we have a data set and we'll just use them and create the application. It is very, very challenging with respect to AI in healthcare because there are lots of strict regulations with respect to healthcare applications. So when you consider healthcare data, that we need to define that what data should be accessed and by whom it should be accessed. Then bias. Right? We have the data set. We generally don't consider what's the bias. Right? Generally, whenever we are creating any applications, even for our research purpose, right, we just go to Kaggle or some Google website, right, and download the data set, not even considering the bias. Right? Maybe, say, for example, the data might be created in US and which may have data of more data of white men. Then your application or your AI model will move toward or it will give decisions in favor of white men. Okay, so that is possible. So how you can avoid such things is you have to debias the data set. You have to remove the bias. Right. So there are many Python packages which you can use and apply to detect the bias in the data set. The next is standardization. Right. So now you might have seen, right, if one doctor or any doctor you consider they don't accept the reports of some other lab, right? So they will prescribe that okay, you go to the specific lab and do all the tests and submit the report. That's what they say, right? Because they don't believe in others' report, right? So that means what standardization is lacking. Then reporting of data quality and patient privacy. So still here, many things are manual and patient data and its privacy are not guaranteed here. So you can implement something called as PII, that is personally identifiable information, and you can hide personally identifiable information and just give the access to the necessary data to the authorized person, and that should be enough. And you can use AI here. The next is the transparency. So data transparency versus algorithmic transparency depends on factors such as risk, performance, and user trust and liability. Right. So first thing is your data should be transparent, and second should be your algorithm should be transparent. Right. So how you can make data transparent? Remove the bias. Right. So even after removing the bias, algorithm may favor, right? It may give some biased decisions, right? So there you also need to cross check the algorithmic transparency. Then level of automation, right? So what kind of automation you need and up to what level of automation you need, that you need to decide, right? So with AI, many things are possible, but we cannot really replace doctors or diagnosis person. Right? So always consider implementing human in the loop, right? Because AI can hallucinate, AI can generate wrong data, right? And there have been many instances where AI is doing many wrong things or it is not giving the information accurately. Right? So always verify by implementing human in the loop layer. Then regulatory environment, right? So here the environment is evolving and the goal should be balancing innovation with appropriate oversight or protection. There are very strict laws, strict regulations here, because if they just allow anyone, right, any application, any device just like that, right, based just considering the technology implemented, then it may result into disaster. Then very, very important training and education, right? So for clinical users, AI developers, and other relevant stakeholders, right? So training is very, very important, and that can be done through AI. So the content can be customized based on who the stakeholder is. The next is deployment environment. So system need a robust and mature underlying information technology governance strategy, right? So again, GRC, that is governance, risk, and compliance, right? So these are all part of standards. So there is a standard called as the HIPAA, that which is a healthcare standard, that which makes sure that whatever system you have implemented, whether it's AI or non-AI, that your system should be compliant with HIPAA. Okay. So likewise, there are many standards with respect to other applications also. For example, if you're dealing with payment cards, then your payment card application should comply to PCI DSS, right? If you are having the organization, then your organization must comply to ISO 27001, right? So there are many standards depending on, it depends on which sector you are, which application you have developed, and so on. Then key attributes for AI in healthcare. Right? So AI is designed to enhance human intelligence and patient-physician relationship rather than replace it. Right? So these statements are very, very important. Right? So these statements we have taken from American Medical Association, right? And they have identified these key attributes for AI in healthcare. Right? Then keeping with best practices in user-centered design, then AI systems must be based on risk of harm and benefit, accounting for a host of factors. And it should be explainable, it should be clinically validated, and it should conform to leading standards for reproducibility. Right? Then address bias and avoid introducing or exacerbating healthcare disparities. And it should safeguard patients and other individuals' privacy interests. So rapidly evolving systems should augment and scale the capabilities of physicians and not replace them. Right? So the broader the healthcare team, and the patients in achieving the quadruple aim in healthcare. So there are some opportunities with respect to AI in healthcare. Right? So you can develop the applications that where you can automate the office and the hospitals. Right? So the task example can be patient scheduling, order entry, chatbots, voice recognition, right, and so on. Then diagnosis, analyze all known data about the patient and produce the insights. Then treatment, right, personalized treatments, you can think and you can develop the applications. Right, so you can go through several research papers in any of these example applications and see what is the recent development. So that should give you enough idea uh, of understanding what has been done and what needs to be done. Okay. Then additional time for physicians is to spend with patients to focus on their health, right? That means they can talk more with the patients now because the analysis is done by AI and they can just verify it, right? And they can spend more time with the patient, right? So spending more time with the patient means they can spend more time in counseling and providing the therapy. Okay, so improve patient experience and aid behavioral change and treatment compliance. Right? So there are some more challenges like data structure, integrity, privacy, and security. Right? So there are so many machines, so many vendors, right? So we don't know in what format the data is collected and whether the data collected is stored in a specific data structure, right? So there are some compatibility issues, right? You need to the data is stored in various files in various formats. You have to aggregate them and bring it to a single unified format in order to process it. And in doing all these things, you should make sure that the data is not modified, right? The data is not leaked. Right? Then demonstrate that AI can reduce costs, deliver the quadruple aim, and support the patient-physician relationship, and alleviate administrative burden. So we are talking about the technology, but we are not talking about the implementation cost, right? So right now in the market. There's AI game going on. Everyone is interested in boasting the valuation of their startup and unnecessarily putting these keywords like AI, ML, right, deep learning, and so on. Right? Many of the times it may not be required, and it may result into more cost. Right? So AI implementation costs, you need to really work it out and see, okay, is it reducing? Exactly, is it value for money? Right? So just because you are implementing AI, you cannot charge more to the patients. Right? So that may not work in India. It may work in some developed countries like US and Europe. Right? So implement and integrate AI into clinical practices and patient care. Right? Susceptibility to training bias. This should be addressed very much. Right? So generally, what happens? Some technology is developed in Western countries, and those companies they just directly bring the technology to India and it may not work, right? So it may have bias always towards the Western people. Right? So questions as to who will benefit and who may lose. Right? So AI-enabled products that will likely not be FDA regulated, right, or otherwise exempt from FDA regulation. You also need to consider these things, right? This is from regulation angle, right? So in India, we have the association, and it should be regulated. It is regulated by the authority. Then there are some additional AI opportunities, right? So that may lead to questions uh, for physicians, and physicians need to confront them. So, what evidence is needed to demonstrate value, utility, and trust, and to whom? And oversight for AI benefits and risk, and how to communicate these to the public. How can patient and clinician expectations be managed and concerns allayed? And user and consumer education and training, integration into clinical workflows, and how will risk be allocated given the black box nature of many AI systems, right? So this is important. We really don't know, right, on which data AI model has been trained, right, and what is the accuracy of the data. We are not sure, right? But if you are developing a specific LLM, specific generative AI application, right, based on accurate data, right, then they are much better compared to your ChatGPT or Google Gemini. Right? Just using their APIs is also not enough. Okay, so it has to be customized. It has to be trained on accurate data, on clinically validated data. Liability. So who is liable? So when something goes wrong, right? Is it innovators? Is it vendors? Is it manufacturers? Or is it the doctor? Right? So they should not inappropriately shift the risk downstream. Right? So those best positioned to have knowledge of AI risk are best positioned to minimize harm. Right? So this is a very important statement. Right? So protections should be established for the clinically appropriate use and reliance on healthcare AI. So where regulatory oversight is limited, black box proprietary AI without explainability should be subject to strict liability. Okay. So this is very, very important because in black box approach, you don't know what is the data on which it is trained, right? If it is proprietary AI, it may be referring some public articles and give you some wrong output. Then coming to the point of oversight or regulation. So healthcare AI presents unique opportunities to advance patient and consumer health. Right. So to will it potentially present new and novel harms to patient and consumer safety. So oversight in healthcare AI should be risk based. Right. So very, very important. So categorization of risk should be based on intended use as well as reasonable expected use. Right. So you should have a clear vision, clear knowledge, right, where to use and up to what extent to use AI. Right? So AMA, that is American Medical Association, that supports efforts to create a new pathway to FDA approval and clearance and recognize the challenges the agency faces in working through this process. But the main goal is the structure must ultimately ensure the patient safety. That should be the ultimate goal. That is not the technology. So whatever technology you use, it must ensure patient safety. So there will be a tremendous amount of technologies coming forward and incredibly uncertain regulatory oversight structure to ensure safety. And so this poses challenges for everyone. Then there are some more issues that due to data integrity, bias, and privacy. Right? So healthcare AI systems must account for a host of factors. Right? So that is including efficacy, equity, and taking steps to address bias. Right? So will consumers know how their data may be used by whom and if solutions or services are being derived from their data? Right? Then control how their information is accessed, used, and disclosed by entities collecting data. Know whether their health data will be used to develop and or train machines or algorithms. And be protected from discrimination, stigma, and exploitation occurring during the collection of data and deployment of the AML. Right? So now I just remembered, uh, if you visit a website called as dsci.in, right, that is dsci.in, that is Data Security Council of India, right, so they have come up with something called as sectoral guides, right, and these sectoral guides are related to banking, healthcare, and I think insurance, right? So they clearly define, right, every organization, every healthcare organization that should undergo the checklist, right? So there are series of questions, around 80 to 100 questions are there, right? And all these questions are categorized into the questions, whatever you are seeing here, right? And with that, you can determine, right, whether the particular hospital, right, is complying to these sectoral guides given by the DSCI. The next is AI applications in agriculture. So it is revolutionizing agriculture by enabling precision farming, higher yields, lower costs, and sustainable practices, especially for countries like India. Right. So agriculture is affected by many environmental factors. Right. So you can take example of Israel, right, which has done lots of innovations with respect to agriculture, right, despite of their environmental conditions. Right. So same thing can be possible in India. Right. So here in India, India is a large country where some places receive a lot of rain, some places they don't even receive rains, right? And how you can use AI and technology, right, to help farmers and to achieve the better yields despite the environmental conditions. Okay. Now, if you consider AI applications in agriculture, there are different areas. Right, so we have something called precision farming, which will help us to achieve higher yield and lower the input cost. We have disease detection of plants, right, our crops, and so it can help us early prevention of crop loss. Then there's smart irrigation, right? So impact can be water conservation. You can use robots and drones, right, which can reduce the labor dependency. Yeah, right. You can do weather prediction, right? So that will help us to achieve the climate resilience. Right? We can monitor the livestock for better animal health. Then we can take advantage of supply chain to reduce the wastage. And the most, again, one more important aspect is the insurance. Right? So for faster claim settlement. Okay. So considering precision farming here, so here AI will help us to analyze the soil, weather, and the crop data, applies inputs such as water, fertilizer, and pesticides, and several other parameters. Right? So they may vary from region to region. That we cannot have generalized parameters here, right? And depending on the area, depending on the geographic location, right, you need to consider the all required parameters. So applications can be here variable rate fertilization, yield prediction, soil nutrient analysis. So technologies can be machine learning, IoT sensors, and satellite imagery can be used here. So example, you can visit the John Deere website, right, where they have come up with the AI powered tractors and precision farming systems. Then we have crop disease and pest detection. Right? So here AI will help detect diseases from leaf images using smartphones or drones. Early detection prevents crop loss. I assume that many of the researchers in academia have worked on this, are working on this. Right? So applications are leaf disease classification, pest outbreak prediction. So technology use can be computer vision, CNNs, and mobile AI. So example, you can consider the application that's called Plantix, right, which is AI-based crop disease diagnosis application for farmers. The next is smart irrigation and water management. So here AI will help predict water requirements based on the crop stage and weather. It reduces water wastage. So applications you can consider here automated drip irrigation and drought prediction. So when we come to the point of smart irrigation, that I just remembered, my student team was participating in Smart India Hackathon. I think it's around 8 years ago, and we were in Chandigarh. I was the mentor, and in one of the evaluation rounds, right, see, one of the judges gave us the task, right, of measuring the pipe length, right, using GPS. Okay, so that was a hard task, and such things can be done using AI. So technologies used here are machine learning and the weather data and IoT soil moisture sensors. So benefits are you can save water and it can improve the crop health. Then you can have applications in agricultural robotics and automation. So nowadays you see that there is a lot of labor problems with respect to agricultural sector, right, due to various reasons, and AI can help solve the problem, right? So AI can help us automate labor-intensive tasks, and applications that can be considered here are autonomous tractors, AI-powered weed removal, and robotic harvesting. It may not be suitable for most of the farmers in India, right? But farmers are using some things like using drones, right? Then example is you can consider a company called Blue Ribbon Technology, right, where they have developed the application, right, to control the weeds with precision. Then crop monitoring using drones and satellites. Right, so here AI can help monitor crop growth, stress, and damage. Right, so applications possible are NDVI analysis, flood and drought impact assessment. Technologies, remote sensing and deep learning can be used here. So benefits are early warning of crop stress and reduced field visits. If you visit the website of ICAR, that is Indian Council for Agricultural Research, and some agricultural council. And so they have developed lots of applications. They are mobile applications, they are web applications, they have AI without AI applications. They are also using chatbots to help farmers. So you can install all these applications free of cost in your mobile phone. The next is weather forecasting and climate risk prediction. Right? So AI will help provide hyper-local weather forecasts and predict climate risk. Now, this is very, very important. So, weather predicast, right, or weather forecasting and climate risk prediction should be hyper-local, right? So, based on that, the decisions needs to be taken. So, even though you are using AI, Right? So each decision should be hyper local. The applications are frost and heat wave alerts, and then it can try to predict monsoon. Right? So example is you can explore climate AI application. The next is livestock monitoring and management. So here AI helps monitor animal health and animals behavior. Right? So applications can be you can try to detect the diseases in the cattle. You can predict the milk yield, right? You can develop smart feeding systems. So technologies can be here, computer vision and wearable sensors. So already wearables are used with animals to track their health, even in forests, even in uh, animals that are used in agriculture. Then supply chain pricing and market intelligence, right? So when you use supply chain, again, you can consider the application of blockchain combined with artificial intelligence here, right? So which can reduce the frauds by intermediaries or agents, right? So it can predict market prices and the demand, right? And reduce the post-harvest losses, right? So application can be, it can have dynamic crop pricing, right? It can optimize the storage and it can have demand forecasting. So you can explore the application that's called as Ninja Cart, right, which is used in India, which is AI-enabled agri supply chain in India. Within crop recommendation and farm advisory systems, right? So here AI can help suggest best crops based on soil and climate. And applications can be crop rotation planning and fertilizer recommendation. So here you can use a tool, explore a tool called Microsoft Farm Bits, that which can give you data-driven farming insights. Then AI in agricultural risk, insurance, and fraud detection. Right. So you know that depend based on the climatic conditions. Right. Lots of farmers they incur losses either when it rains heavily or there is a drought. Right. So such things can be avoided and claims can be settled faster when you implement AI and also the blockchain with respect to insurance assessment. Right? You can automate crop insurance assessment and detect the false claims. Right? So applications can be satellite-based crop loss estimation and yield-based insurance pricing. Now, key challenges in adopting AI for agriculture are one is the data quality and availability. So, data is often incomplete, noisy, and non-standard farm data. So, limited label data sets for Indian crops and regions. Now, although we have uh, ICAR, although we have many agricultural universities, but the people there are not tech oriented. And people who are tech oriented, they lack this knowledge. Right? They lack the domain knowledge. So that's the fundamental gap in India. You consider any sector, and it is affecting the adopting of AI in any field. Then we have small and fragmented land holdings, right? So most Indian farms are less than 2 hectares. Right? So models trained on large farms don't generalize well. Right? Then connectivity and infrastructure gaps. So poor internet access in rural areas. Right? So limited power and sensor maintenance issues. Right? So we should think of applications right where sensors are collecting the data and sending it to the servers without using internet. Maybe you can consider using AT commands and you can consider interacting in Indian languages, right, to improve the accessibility. Then cost and accessibility, high cost of drones, sensors, and AI platforms. Affordability is also a major barrier for small farmers. Then adoption and trust issues. So farmers rely on experience and peer advice, right? So low trust in black box AI recommendations. So they don't accept AI recommendations, right? So instead they consider their experience only and some peer farmer advice. Then how to build responsible and trustworthy agri AI. Right? So consider implementing explainable AI. So farmers must know why a crop or a fertilizer is recommended. Right? So transparent models increase adoption. Right? So that means what? Whenever you are building the AI models, right? So on which data it has been trained, what is the data source, right? So all these should be made public. Then data ownership and privacy. So farm data belongs to the farmer, right? So clear consent on how data is collected and used, right, should be considered. Then bias and fairness. AI models may favor certain regions, crops, or climates. Right? So risk of excluding small and marginal farmers is still a problem. Right? Human in the loop. Right? As I have told earlier, so consider human in the loop across sectors. It should not be just healthcare or agriculture. Right? So AI should assist, not replace. Right? Farmer decision making. So expert validation is very, very essential, right, to measure the accuracy, to measure or to counter the false positives. Sustainability and environmental impact. So AI must optimize yield without harming soil, water, and biodiversity. Then the last part of the talk is AI applications in finance. Okay, so artificial intelligence is transforming finance by enabling faster decisions, reduced risk, automation, and personalized financial services across banking, insurance, capital markets, and fintech. But one popular application I can think of AI in finance is algo trading. Right? So those who are doing trading, right? So you might have explored algo trading, and I think that's the most widely used applications at the individual level. Now, when we consider the finance area, right? So there are again different areas, right? So consider fraud detection. So it can help uh, real-time risk prevention, right? Then credit scoring. So it should be inclusive and fair lending. It should not be biased towards a certain class of people, right? Then trading, faster and data-driven decisions. Right? Wealth management. So it can give personalized investing suggestions or recommendations. Customer service, 24/7 automation is possible. Compliance, reduced regulatory risk. Insurance, so faster claims and pricing. Now let us consider the first application here, that is fraud detection and financial crime prevention. Right, so here AI can help detect anomalies in the real-time transactions. Right, so learns evolving fraud patterns. Right, so applications are credit or debit card fraud, right, anti-money laundering, identity theft detection. Right, so technologies used can be anomaly detection, graph ML, and deep learning. So example application you can consider is the Visa, right? So that's real-time AI fraud detection at scale. So one scenario which I would like to quote, right, which happened with me, right? I think in 2019 I was visiting US, right? And I booked a Uber cab in US. The moment I booked the Uber cab in US, I got a call from SBI credit card fraud control, and they asked me, right, so okay, your card has been swiped in US. That is it you or someone else? That immediately within minutes I got a call, right? So that's how technology can help, right? Uh, predicting the detecting the fraud. Right? And one more incident happened. I was in Mysore, right? And I think around this time only I was doing something. Right? Suddenly I got a message, right, stating that someone has swiped your card in Mumbai, and we have blocked your card immediately. Transaction was reversed. So again, this was done by SBI. Okay. So credit scoring and risk assessment. So here AI can help evaluate the borrower risk beyond the traditional credit scores, and it can include alternative data. Now, what is alternative data here is usually many organizations they collect a lot of data, right? Whether needed or unwanted, right? So they just collect a lot of data, right? And they keep this unwanted data too, right? Just for thinking that it may be needed for compliance purposes in future. So such data is called as dark data, and you can use this additional data, right, to evaluate the borrower risk. Then applications are loan approval and pricing, right? Then MSME and microfinance lending, right? You can evaluate these organizations as MSMEs and small startups, right? And evaluate their eligibility, evaluate the risk of giving them the credit. or loan. So technologies are ML classification and explainable AI. Right? So examples you can check this application for the Upstart, right, which is AI-driven credit risk models. Then algorithmic trading and investment analytics. I think many of you are already aware of it, maybe using it also, right? So it executes high-frequency trades, analyzes market sentiment and signals, right? So applications are stock and crypto trading, right? So portfolio optimization and technologies used here as here reinforcement learning and NLP for news and sentiment analysis. And again, you can consider the Aladdin platform created by BlackRock. So if someone is using, it's fine. Or you may be using some other application also. This is just one example. Then robo advisory and wealth management. So here you can have the personalized assistant or virtual assistant, that which can provide automated investment advice and based on your spend patterns, based on your investment interest. So it personalizes portfolios based on goals and risk appetite. And then applications are mutual fund recommendations and retirement planning. And again, you can explore this application called Wealth Front. In customer service and conversational banking, now we know that most of the banks they have introduced something called conversational banking, right? So now everything happens on your WhatsApp, right? So checking of a balance, right? Booking a bank account, right? Even paying the credit card bills, right? So many things are happening on WhatsApp, right? So that is nothing but conversational banking, right? So it how AI helps, it helps you building 24/7 virtual assistants, right? And it automates the routine banking tasks. Say, for example, if you want to check the bank balance, you don't have to visit the uh, ATMs or banks, right? You can just select some option using AI, right, in your WhatsApp chatbot. So applications are like a balance inquiry, fund transfer, right, complaint handling. And so technology is used here as NLP and voice bots. So consider example of Bank of America. So they have something called the Erica AI assistant. Even in India, all big banks have AI assistant now. So regulatory compliance. So you can consider it as a RegTech. And so here AI helps automate compliance checks, monitor regulatory violations, right? So applications you can think of KYC automation, transaction monitoring, regulatory reporting, right? And technologies such as NLP and rule-based ML should be used here. Then insurance tech, right? So AI can help automate the underwriting and claims, and they can detect the insurance fraud, right? Then applications are such as claim image assessment and risk-based premium pricing. So you can explore this application called Lemonade. Then personalized finance and expense management. So here AIs can analyze your spending behavior and provide a smart financial advice. Right? So there are many applications based on this, right, which can analyze the SMS in your mobile phone, right, and they can suggest or they can provide the smart financial advice. Right? So there are many budgeting apps and there are many smart saving suggestions and recommendation apps. Then AI in cybersecurity and financial data protection, as I have told you, right? So there are many standards, right? Whenever you are creating the financial application, it should be complied to these standards, right? So one of them is PCI DSS if you are dealing with payment cards. And so how AI helps? So it helps detect the cyber threats in banking systems that prevents data breaches and applications such as behavioral biometrics and account takeover prevention. Now, what happens with respect to the banking system is that whenever a fraudster is doing a fraud, he may be internal employee of the bank, and he's going to just transfer amount to thousands of accounts, and he may create fake accounts, and from that, again, all of them will be aggregated and will go to a single account later. Right. So this can be detected by using AI. Then financial forecasting and economic analysis. So it can predict the market trends and risk, right, and supports macroeconomic analysis. So applications are stress testing and scenario modeling. Yeah, I have done with my talk. Thank you everyone for attending the talk. If you are having any questions, uh, I can take up those questions now.
Participants, if you want to tell something, so you can unmute and ask anything.
Sir, what is the difference between remote patient monitoring and telehealth, sir?
Remote patient monitoring and
Telehealth.
telemedicine, telehealth.
Uh,
Okay, so in
yes, sir.
telehealth, what you are doing is you are going for preliminary health uh, aspects or regular health aspects. Say, for example, you are suffering from diabetics, right? So, for that, you need not have to visit a doctor. You are suffering from blood pressure. You need not have to visit the doctor, right? So, doctor can take a decision based on the diagnosis. But in case of remote monitoring, right, a camera can be fixed in the patient's room, right? Sensors can be fixed surrounding the patient's bed, right, to monitor his activities, right. So if patient falls from the bed, it can be detected and doctors can take the action immediately. So this is the difference.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
If there are no questions, just wind up the session. Uh, okay, sir has nicely walked through the various applications of AI. Actually, it is a vast concept. No, sir has covered that within 60 minutes. Just I would like to highlight a few AI tools that when it comes to health sector, IBM Watson Health, Google's DeepMind, and Babylon Health. So these are the things I noted down. No, AI tools which are being used in health sector. And when it comes to agriculture, there exists Plantix, and then Blue River Technology, Ninja Card. So we better to explore these things. And when it comes to finance, uh, we have seen Upstart, BlackRock, and Erica, Lemonade, such kind of things. We know that unless we apply science and technology, so that becomes irrelevant. So if you have a technology, we have to apply it. Nowadays, we have artificial intelligence. We should know how to apply to solve problems in society. So very important thing is health sector as well as agriculture and finance. So the difficulty associated with application of AI is regulations. We should properly understand what is the regulation behind health sector. When it comes to India, what are all the regulations should be followed before developing a project? We can develop toy projects. Okay, that is not an issue. But when you want to develop a project, you want to market it. So for such kind of things, you must know about the regulations. So I hope you people are going to make use of this. Gajendra sir, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome, sir. My pleasure, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Welcome, sir. Okay, dear participants, just stay with me for 2 minutes. I need to talk with you regarding few things. That is, tomorrow is our last session. That is the sixth day. It is very crucial for us. That is for organizers as well as for participants. The session, because the session starts at 2 p.m. and we try to wind up the session at 6 p.m. So here, as you know, as a faculty, you know, AACT is observing the number of participants in each day. So I strongly believe that you are going to support us uh, tomorrow as well. So if number of participants decreases, then it affects organizers as well as participants. So I hope I know it is very difficult to take a session at 2 p.m. because you people will be in college, and maybe some people will be taking class. But I request you people to kindly make arrangement to attend the sessions. So your positive thinking greatly helps us. We are just one step behind successful completion of this FTP. So I hope, I strongly believe that you will be with us. Um, and also the second thing I want to tell you is that regarding the assessment. So I have already uploaded 20 questions. Um, the duration is 30 minutes, and you can start uh, answering those questions at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. Even though you face any network issue, there is no problem. The only 30 minutes, and I have uploaded only 20 simple questions. You can easily answer them. So I hope you will not find any problems with assessment. So how to take the assessment? Just you have to log into your ATAL FTP portal. There you have to go to assessment field. In the assessment field, you have to click on the link. You are going to see the link there, and you have to agree some terms and conditions, and you have to press a start button. So once you press the start button, you will have 30 minutes of duration, and you will have 20 questions. You have to finish it in a single structure. So if you have any problem related to assessment, please let me know by sending some messages in WhatsApp. So I will be waiting for you for next session, that is tomorrow, which starts from 2 p.m. Thank you all.